In one of the more shocking things to have happened this year, Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed, out of nowhere, have turned on Seth Rollins to close out the most recent episode of Monday Night Raw. This was something that we knew was going to happen much further down the line and not 6 months into this faction's existence. And obviously, since then, that has been pretty much the entire talk amongst the WWE Universe. So the purpose of today's video is we are going to be taking a look into Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed's recent turn on Seth Rollins. Real quick, before we get too far ahead in the video, I want to say that if you are a WWE fan, consider subscribing to this YouTube channel. That is all we post, is WWE related content. So again, if you're a WWE fan, consider subscribing. It's free. You can always change your mind later. So I would say the most popular theory, rumor that's circulating online right now is that Seth Rollins is unfortunately injured once again. Obviously, with his match at Crown Jewel against Cody Rhodes, we did notice that he was really holding on to that one shoulder, and since then, people have seen him walking around Perth, Australia, with a sling. But let's not forget what we just went through not too long ago with his build to SummerSlam. Remember, this is a guy that took videos with his daughter walking on crutches with a knee brace on, and it was all just part of the story. And this was kind of my problem with that story, was now we don't know if Seth Rollins is truly hurt or not. Now, to WWE's credit, this is when they are at their best, when they blur the lines between reality and fiction. This is something that if you have been watching the WWE product for a long time now, you know they are very good at. And this is something that has existed not just in WWE, but pro wrestling entirely forever. So now we're sitting here wondering if Seth Rollins is actually hurt or not. If he is actually hurt, that really sucks for Seth Rollins in WWE, obviously. I talked about it in my preview video about how Seth Rollins needed to win against Cody Rhodes because it finally was going to feel like Seth Rollins was going to be treated like a top guy, which is something that he never really has been presented as because there's always been someone above him. And this really felt like this was his opportunity to finally feel like he was at the top of the mountain. And if he is actually hurt, that could be a reason as to why we saw this turn from Bron and Bronson so soon. And if he is injured and is going to be out for some time, that could be an interesting thing for this new group to kind of build on. From the moment that this faction started, the comparisons were immediately drawn to what we saw with Evolution. And we were kind of trusting the process with this group because the guy who led Evolution is leading WWE's creative right now, obviously being Triple H. But if Seth Rollins is actually hurt, and that is in fact the reason why Bron and Bronson have turned, that could draw yet another comparison and another parallel to another Triple H faction in D-Generation X. And I'm not comparing those two groups at all, because obviously they're drastically different. But let's not forget, when HBK got hurt with his back, he had to leave WWE, and who took charge? It was Triple H. This could be a similar situation where Seth Rollins gets hurt again. Bron Breakker doesn't feel like waiting on Seth Rollins to get healthy once again. He's ready to lead now. And look, Bron Breakker is obviously a guy that is going to be strapped to the absolute moon and beyond, and he's going to be main eventing WrestleManias for years to come, and he's going to be winning world championships for years and years to come. So it would make sense if WWE was ready to light the rocket on Bron Breakker. But that is all depending on, one, if Seth Rollins is actually hurt, and two, that is in fact the reason why they decided to turn on Seth Rollins. Another popular theory that's going around right now is that Seth Rollins isn't hurt again. And all of this is just another well thought out plan B. Because let's not forget, the man who he screwed at SummerSlam is the same man that he'll be facing for the World Heavyweight Championship. And for someone like Seth Rollins who loves to have one over on CM Punk at all times, that would be a very clever way and downright evil. Now, here would be my issue with that. If this all is just one big ruse by Seth Rollins and the Vision again, that, in my opinion, would really hurt the actual turn of Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed. We know that eventually that day was going to come. We weren't expecting it now, though. And if this is just one big tease, one big ruse, then when the time actually comes for Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed to break away from Seth Rollins, people won't really know if they can trust it or not. So this is one where I'm not going to have any theories. I'm not going to say a whole heck of a lot about what's going on. I'm just going to enjoy the ride and see whatever happens next, because I have no idea. Because this decision doesn't just affect Seth Rollins, doesn't just affect Bron Breakker, doesn't just affect Bronson Reed. This affects the entire WWE landscape. Because leading into Survivor Series War Games, we were expecting one of the teams to be the Vision. And now, I don't know what's going to happen with War Games. I don't know what's going to happen next. But again, this is when WWE is at their best, when they are blurring the lines between reality and fiction. So this is where I want to hear from you guys down below in the comments. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed turning on Seth Rollins. And let me know what you think as to why they turned right now. Again, for me, I'm not saying too much about it. Seth Rollins has fooled all of us before in the past. He very likely could be doing it now, but I also don't want to be that guy who is accusing a man of faking an injury. So I'm genuinely curious on what your guys' stance is on this and where this whole thing could go from here. So as always, let me know that stuff down below in the comments. And while you're down there, swing by the description and click the Linktree link. That is the only link in bio for a reason, and that is because it'll take you to all of the social media platforms for this channel. I do suggest going and checking out our X page. Besides YouTube, I am most active over on X. We do updates for Monday Night Raw, Friday Night SmackDown, and the PLEs. And with WWE moving back to their traditional start time, there will be updates for both Raw and SmackDown once again. I didn't do updates when they were still in Australia because of the weird start time at 8 in the morning. And my main goal with the X page is to just have a place for wrestling fans to go and talk about wrestling, especially if you're like me and you don't have a lot of people to talk to about wrestling. Because let's face it, WWE is fine on your own, but it's so much better when you have people to talk about wrestling with. So if you are like me and you're looking for a group of wrestling fans to talk about wrestling with, swing by an upcoming episode of Monday Night Raw, Friday Night SmackDown, one of the upcoming PLEs, join in on the conversation, and maybe it's for you at the end of the day. Another place that you can go and find us is over on TikTok. The only content that gets posted right now on TikTok is just clips from these videos, and it's just another place for me to post when I upload a video to YouTube. But eventually we are going to be doing some of the other wrestling, WWE related things that take place over on TikTok. So if you're scrolling on your phone one day and you come across one of those videos, drop it a like, drop it a follow, show it some love. I'm really trying to grow that page a lot. So with all that said and done, that is going to do it for this video here. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, hit the like button. If you really enjoyed it, hit the subscribe button. Both are free and both really help out the channel a lot. And of course, if you have made it to this point of the video, I want to say thank you very much for taking the time out of your busy day to watch these videos here, because it genuinely means the world to me. And as always, stay tuned for more WWE related content coming in the future. We'll see you next time.